Hey guys, Ratchet Reviews here again with another video review. This time I'll be taking a look at the Transformers Cybertron Scout Class Overhaul. So, just like Scattershot that I reviewed prior, Overhaul is one of the ones that came down onto Earth from Cybertron along with Optimus Prime. But a lot of his core story arc happens on the Jungle Planet, which we'll take a look at that later on in a video review. Spoilers. So here he is in his Jeep alt mode. Very nice little nondescript Jeep. It's definitely not a real world Jeep. Just kind of takes cues of like a Jeep and a Hummer, Humvee cross. It does look pretty nice though. A nice little cute off-road vehicle. We do have wheels on him that do roll very well thanks to being pinned in. And we do have some nice little painted details. We have all the windows on him painted in this orange color, as well as some gold striping, some yellow headlights and floodlights, and some red lights as well, and nothing going on in the back. Now, for gimmick-wise, I do want to point out, he can hold on to his Cyber Key. And this is what we're going to talk about real quick. The Hasbro market release version of this figure came with a Beast Planet key. So I just grabbed the first one out of the bag that I grabbed of this one. A silver bordered Beast key with the claw. I do like this one a lot because it's got like these nice like ground chunks right here, and then we've got like this maw or claw that's like grabbing a hold of it, and then we do have like this nice little claw detail for the emblem. But the one thing I want to mention here is in the Hasbro release it does include the Beast Key, but in the cartoon and in the Takara markets, the key that was used with Overhaul was actually a generic Cybertronian Autobot key, which I don't have any of, unfortunately. That was a big change that I was not really too comfortable with on this one, but I already bought the figure before, and I can't find a Japanese one for a decent price that I want to pay, so. And it's just the key. And as you've heard, I've got all of my keys just thrown into a bag right now, so the exact key that he comes packaged with doesn't really matter. But anyways, back onto the Cyber Key gimmick. You can plug in the key here from vehicle mode, however it does not do anything, and we'll get into more of that in robot mode. But first I do want to do the size comparison here. As soon as I find out where I set him down on the side. Here he is next to the Siege Voyager class Optimus Prime. As you can see, Optimus is going to be a bit bigger than Overhaul here, just based off of the price point and just the amount of plastic here. So, but don't get me wrong, this is a nice little figure for its price. Now, for transformation, to start, what we're going to do is first come underneath here in these little black sections. We're going to fold out and all the way around to form his feet. And then we're going to take the front of the Jeep and... actually, no. We're going to come here to the back, open up these claws on the back, and then kind of loosen up the arms here from where they're connected to. And then come to these panels here, fold them out, and position the arms out. And then do the same on this side. And then now, for the front of the Jeep, what we're going to do is we're going to pull it up first, and then swing it down to form the legs. And then separate them at the waist, or at the... unpeg them apart. And then last thing we're going to do here is come to the spare tire on the back, and fold it down, and rotate it around, and there we have Overhaul in his robot mode. And he's a nice little robot mode, very unique looking design on him. First thing I want to come take a look at is trying to zoom in on his head, which I'm going to need to move the camera up a little bit because he's a little bit taller than the Scattershot was for this. There we go. So as you can see, for his detail, he does have pretty nice detail going on his head. Just nice little standard looking blocky head. We got a nice gold forehead crest going on here. Some piercing red eyes and a silver face masked by a bunch of other helmet bits. Now, if you take a look at his animation model on the cartoon, he does have fangs coming up out of his lower jaw covering up his upper lip. But it doesn't look like this was translated over into toy form, at least at this size, very easily, so I can understand why they left that out. And as I mentioned with the piercing red eyes, if you can't tell by the block of red in the back of his head, he has some light piping, and some very effective light piping. Just going to take a quick LED out here and see how good it comes off. As you see, his eyes just glow if you get light behind it in the right angle. I'll just come back here with the trying to do it where it's not like like where the LED is not like overpowering the rest of the light and throwing off my white balance, but that's the best way I think it's gonna look. So nice little light piping gimmick there. Now, for other details, we do reveal the whole chest and waist and the arms now. It's pretty nice, coherent robot mode bits. Everything looks like it forms together pretty well. Now, for size comparisons here real quick, I'm going to take a quick look at his I guess I want to say Wavemate Team Prime Scout Class figure Scattershot. Now, as you can see, Overhaul is a little bit bigger than him head height, but thanks to the giant missiles, Scattershot does have a little bit of a height advantage on him. And then come back with the Voyager Optimus / Ultra Magnus body. And again, Overhaul barely comes up to the waist, as is expected with this size class. And then, just going to bring out Red Alert, just because we've showcased him off before. So, there's that. Now, for articulation, he does have a little bit better articulation than Scattershot in some places, and then a little bit worse in others. So, first thing we're going to take a look at is his head. Thanks to transformation, we get a full 360-degree rotation without anything hindering it. The arms do get a little weird. They are on ball joints, but they're not ball jointed into his torso. They're ball jointed into these panels hanging off of his back. So, what we can get is a nice rotation right here, as well as a bend forward with some rotation, and that's about it. And then, given the way his arms are molded, we do get like this bicep curl going on in the molding of those arms, but he does get a front-facing elbow bend, so we can bend at 90 degrees like that. And that's about it. And that's pretty useless articulation for the arms. It's there, and it's not all there for the sake of transformation, but it does kind of not do anything. Now, from the waist down is definitely where he excels in the articulations front. We do have a rotation at the waist. If you get the arms out of the way, it can rotate the full almost 360 degrees around before it hits up against the backpack junk. And then ball joints at the hips, can move that far out and kick that far back and that far forward. And we get a bend at the knee, a little bit less than 90 degrees, but still a nice bend. And we do get a hinge at the ankle, but that's for the transformation, and I don't think it would actually be very helpful in trying to get any poses made. So overall, for articulation, this one is a pretty nice one. Definitely a step up from Scattershot. It's just with the way the arms are engineered, that is a big downfall on this figure. Now, as we mentioned before, the Cyber Key gimmick, bringing out the Beast Planet key again. And coming along the back, now, this is also where this giant tail comes into play. Because take the Cyber Key and plug that into the Cyber Key port on his back, and without any warning, that will fire off his chest missile, which is a combination of pressure, fire, and spring-loaded at the same time. So here is the Slam Cannon, that he calls it in the American release of the show at least. Or the Slam Attack is what he refers to it as. And it's just a missile shooting out of his chest, which leaves him with a gaping hole in his sternum. But as you can see, this is not different between the Hasbro or Takara release, but for safety purposes, they extended the missile so it would prevent it from being a choking hazard. Now, that is the big problem as to the storage of this missile, because as you can see, when you do plug it into his chest, you have it coming out all the way back here. But if you really wanted to, you can modify this by snipping off the missile at this point, and then it would just hang out in the back there, and you wouldn't need to worry about the holes in the back. You can actually probably find some modeling putty or something to cover those up. But I'm not that skilled on doing that, so I'm not going to worry about it. So there we have Overhaul. And I'll get out the rest of the Team Prime for now, just so we can get them in the back in the shot. So overall, very nice figure. I do like him. Like I said, the arm engineering is very wonky, and it makes it for a very difficult figure to pose, aside from a standard static position. So be aware of that when you're going to purchase him. Otherwise, I do highly recommend picking him up. Definitely a great buy. I feel like he is a lot better than the Scattershot of the same Scout class. But honestly, I feel like both Scattershot and Overhaul were made as slightly less good toys compared to their future incarnations, which we'll get a look into next time for Overhaul. And anyways, this has been Rancher Reviews. I hope you guys like this video review, and I will see you next time. Bye.